Welcome back to the MotorVibes. Today we're diving into 12 brand new retro motorcycles for 2026. The machines that blend classic soul with next-generation engineering. If you love vintage style with modern performance, you're about to see some game changers. Number 12. BMW R12. BMW's Boxer twin motorcycles have defined the brand's identity for decades, and the R12 continues that tradition while incorporating modern refinements. The 2026 version demonstrates BMW's ability to honor heritage while pushing performance forward. The exterior design leans into classic BMW Boxer styling while cleaning up proportions. The tank has a smoother, more refined curve. The frame tubes are prominently displayed, celebrating the bike's mechanical architecture. The metal finishes across the side panels have a tighter, more polished quality that elevates the overall presentation. The round headlight sits in a compact housing that provides excellent visibility. The engine is BMW's legendary 1,200 cubic centimeter Boxer twin, now running with updated tuning that makes it calmer and more refined without sacrificing character. The horizontally opposed cylinder layout creates a distinctive mechanical presence you feel and hear. The engine builds power in a steady, predictable manner that makes throttle modulation easy. There's strong torque from low RPM, making the bike effortless in city traffic. On highways, the Boxer engine demonstrates its true strength. It holds cruising speeds without strain, settling into a composed rhythm that eats miles with minimal fatigue. The revised cooling setup keeps temperatures stable during long summer rides. The suspension uses an improved internal layout that reduces dive under braking while maintaining excellent bump absorption. The braking system provides powerful, progressive stopping force with excellent feedback. BMW positioned the R12 at $16,000 to $17,000, reflecting genuine quality and long-term durability. Number 11. Harley-Davidson Street Bob. The Harley-Davidson Street Bob enters 2026 with an exterior that sharpens its stripped-down cruiser look. This isn't a bike trying to be everything to everyone. It's focused, purposeful, and unapologetically American. The Street Bob has always been about raw, essential motorcycling, and this year's model doubles down on that philosophy. The tank has a cleaner curve, the fenders are trimmed tighter, and the blacked-out finish across the frame and engine cases looks more refined than previous years. The Mini 8 bars sit at a comfortable rise, giving the bike a bold stance without going over the top. Everything about the design says this bike is built for riding, not posing. The engine is a 1,750 cubic centimeter V-twin that brings stronger and smoother push thanks to updated mapping. Low RPM torque feels more immediate. Mid-range pull is firmer and the bike holds steady on long highway runs. The new cooling setup keeps temperatures stable even during hot summers, and the vibration control is slightly better, giving the motor a calmer feel when cruising for long stretches. Extra upgrades include a firmer suspension setup that resists sag, underweight shifts, and a rear shock that handles bumps more cleanly. The braking system feels more direct with improved lever feedback. The expected price lands around $16,000 to $17,000, placing it right in the zone for riders who want pure cruiser feel without paying upper-tier Harley figures. The Street Bob continues its stripped-down style while adding a calmer motor feel and stronger ride control. Number 10. Triumph Bonneville T120. If you've been paying attention to the retro motorcycle world, this shouldn't come as a shock. The Triumph Bonneville T120 steps into 2026 with an exterior that leans even harder into clean vintage lines while gaining subtle refinements that make the bike look tighter and more polished than ever before. The tank has a smoother sweep, the metal panels sit closer to the frame, and the fenders carry a cleaner cut that gives the bike a neat flow from front to back. The round headlight feels more compact, and the chrome detailing has a finer finish this year. This is a motorcycle that looks expensive because it is. The quality shows in every detail. The engine is a 1,200 cubic centimeter parallel twin, updated for calmer, more even response. Low RPM pickup is smoother. The mid-range feels stronger, and the motor holds steady speed on long, open roads with less effort. Vibration control is better thanks to revised mounts, giving the bike a calmer feel during long weekend rides. It keeps the classic twin character while offering more smoothness than older versions. Extra changes bring better balance and comfort. The fork uses improved internals that cut down on front-end flex, while the rear shocks hold the bike steady under quick weight shifts. The braking system provides strong, predictable stopping power. The expected price sits around $13,000 to $14,000, placing it at the higher end of the retro class, but offering strong build quality and refined performance. The Bonneville T120 closes out 2026 with cleaner style and smoother ride feel. Number 9. Royal Enfield Bullet 650. Let's kick things off with a bike that's been part of motorcycling DNA since before most of us were born. The Royal Enfield Bullet has always been that dependable friend, and the 2026 Bullet 650 takes that reliability and gives it a serious upgrade. Royal Enfield went back to the drawing board with this one. The tank flows with smoother lines that feel sculpted rather than stamped. The fenders sit tighter to the wheels, giving the bike a leaner profile without sacrificing classic proportions. Everything about the stance says this bike knows what it is. Here's where things get interesting. Royal Enfield ditched the single-cylinder thumper and dropped in a 650 cubic centimeter parallel twin. This isn't just numbers, it's a complete personality shift. At low speeds, you get immediate pull that makes city riding effortless. Crack the throttle in the mid-range, and there's a surge of power that feels both controlled and eager. At roughly 440 pounds, the Bullet 650 feels substantial without becoming a burden. The suspension handles rough pavement with composure, and the brakes bite harder with predictable feedback. The instrument cluster stays refreshingly simple with round gauges, but the backlighting is crisp and modern. The exhaust note is deeper, exactly what a retro twin should sound like. The expected price of $7,000 to $8,000 positions this bike where it offers serious value for a twin-cylinder engine with modern components. Number 8. Honda CB 1000F. Honda has been building the CB series for decades, and the 2026 CB 1000F represents the latest evolution of blending retro appeal with contemporary capability. This isn't just nostalgia wrapped in chrome, it's a thoughtfully executed machine that respects its heritage while refusing to be limited by it. The exterior design walks a fascinating line. The tank has that distinctive CB curve from the 1970s, but it's been smoothed and refined. The side panels sit flush against the frame, creating cohesive visual flow. The lighting uses compact LED units that integrate seamlessly rather than looking like aftermarket additions. Let's talk about what makes this bike special. That inline-four engine displacing 1,000 cubic centimeters. This power plant is why the CB 1000F commands attention. Roll on the throttle from low RPM, and the engine responds without hesitation. Just clean, immediate acceleration. The mid-range delivers confident thrust that makes highway passing or canyon carving equally satisfying. What's remarkable is how calm this engine remains even when pushing into higher speeds. There's no harsh vibration buzzing through the pegs or bars. The cooling system maintains stable temperatures even during extended summer rides in stop-and-go traffic. The suspension setup handles imperfect pavement without harsh kickback, and the braking system delivers strong, progressive stopping power. Honda positioned the CB 1000F at $12,000 to $13,000, offering a large displacement inline-four with legendary reliability wrapped in styling that honors classic design. Number 7. Kawasaki Z900RS. Kawasaki's Z900RS has developed a devoted following, and the 2026 version shows why this bike continues to resonate with riders who want retro aesthetics without vintage compromises. This isn't a bike pretending to be from 1972. It's a thoroughly modern machine that pays respectful homage to Kawasaki's legendary Z1. The exterior refinements are subtle but meaningful. The tank retains that iconic teardrop shape, but the lines flow more cleanly. The round headlamp houses sophisticated internal optics that provide excellent nighttime visibility while maintaining vintage appearance. The seat-to-tail transition is smoother, giving the bike a more integrated look. What sets the Z900RS apart is its 900 cubic centimeter inline-four engine. Kawasaki tuned this motor to provide strong performance across the entire RPM range without peaky, aggressive delivery. From low revs, the engine pulls cleanly with enough torque to make urban riding relaxed. There's no need to constantly shift gears. The power is simply there when you ask for it. The mid-range is where this bike really comes alive. Acceleration builds with satisfying urgency, but never feels violent. At highway speeds, the engine settles into a calm rhythm. The vibration levels are well controlled, allowing you to cover long distances comfortably. The suspension uses revised internals that better manage rough pavement while maintaining stable handling. Positioned at $12,000 to $13,000, the Z900 RS offers proven performance wrapped in successful Z1 styling. Number 6. Yamaha XSR 700. Yamaha's XSR 700 has carved out a unique position in the retro market by offering serious performance in a compact, stylish package. The 2026 version refines the formula even further. This is a bike that proves you don't need massive displacement to deliver an engaging riding experience. The exterior updates show evolutionary design thinking. The tank sits with cleaner lines and a tighter connection to the frame. The headlight housing is more compact, giving the front end a purposeful appearance. The side panels use a smooth matte finish that looks modern and upscale. The tail section remains short and tidy, contributing to the bike's athletic stance. At approximately 410 pounds, the XSR 700 is one of the lighter bikes here, and that weight advantage translates directly into how it behaves. In parking lots and through tight technical sections, the bike feels nimble and responsive. There's never a sense of wrestling with excess mass. The 700cc parallel twin punches significantly above its displacement. Yamaha tuned this motor for strong low-end and mid-range torque, creating a power plant that feels energetic without requiring constant gear changes. From a stop, the engine pulls with immediate enthusiasm. In the mid-range, it delivers confident acceleration that makes overtaking feel effortless. Despite smaller displacement, there's no sense of the motor straining at highway speeds. The suspension setup uses firmer fork internals that cut down on dive while absorbing bumps cleanly. At $9,000 to $10,000, the XSR 700 delivers lightweight agility with strong performance. Number 5. Moto Guzzi V7 Sport. Moto Guzzi has been building motorcycles since 1921, and the V7 series carries that century of experience in every detail. The 2026 V7 Sport represents the latest evolution of Guzzi's iconic transverse twin philosophy, and it's a motorcycle that immediately stands apart from everything else in this countdown. The exterior refinements show attention to proportion and detail. The tank has a rounder, more organic curve that feels hand-formed. The side covers sit closer to the frame, tightening the visual profile. The metal finishes have a more refined quality. The chrome and polished aluminum elements look richer and more carefully executed. The seat features firmer contouring that blends naturally into the frame lines. What makes any Moto Guzzi instantly recognizable is that transverse-mounted V-twin engine. The 750 cubic centimeter motor sits with its cylinders jutting out from the sides, a layout Guzzi has used for decades. The longitudinal crankshaft orientation creates a mechanical torquey reaction that experienced Guzzi riders grow to love. It's not a quirk, it's character. Moto Guzzi revised the fuel mapping and cooling system to make the engine more refined. At low throttle openings, the engine responds smoothly without abrupt behavior. The mid-range power delivery is steady and confident, building thrust with a predictable quality. On highways, the engine settles into a relaxed cruise with well-controlled vibration levels. Positioned around $10,000 to $11,000, the V7 Sport offers something genuinely unique. A motorcycle built in Italy with an engine layout no other manufacturer currently uses. Number 4. Kawasaki W800. The Kawasaki W800 occupies a special place in the retro motorcycle world. While other manufacturers blend vintage styling with modern performance priorities, the W800 leans harder into authentic classic character. The 2026 version deepens that commitment while adding just enough contemporary refinement to make daily riding practical. The exterior updates push the W800 even further into vintage territory. The tank and side panels have cleaner shaping that looks more authentically period correct. The chrome trim receives a smoother, more refined finish that catches light beautifully. The round headlight sits in a tighter housing that gives the front end a neat appearance. Every visual element reinforces the bike's connection to British vertical twins from the 1960s. At roughly 490 pounds, the W800 has a substantial, grounded feel that translates into stability at highway speeds while remaining manageable in urban environments. The heart of the W800 is its 773 cubic centimeter air-cooled parallel twin engine. This power plant deliberately prioritizes character over raw performance numbers. The air-cooled design connects directly to motorcycle tradition. Kawasaki refined the engine tuning to make power delivery smoother. Low RPM response is improved, eliminating hesitation. The mid-range pull is more confident, giving adequate passing power. Vibration levels are better controlled through revised engine mounts. The air cooling system benefits from improved fin design and airflow management. The suspension features firmer fork internals and a more supportive rear shock. At $9,000 to $10,000, the W800 offers authentic character without modern bike compromises. Number 3. Suzuki GSX 8S. The Suzuki GSX 8S enters 2026 with an exterior that leans toward a sleek, modern retro mix. This bike represents Suzuki's understanding that retro doesn't have to mean old-fashioned performance. The GSX 8S proves you can have classic lines with thoroughly contemporary capability. The tank has a smooth arc with a tight grip on the frame. The headlight sits in a compact round shell, and the side panels use a clean matte finish that gives the bike a sharp outline without clutter. The tail section is short and neat, keeping the stance tight and purposeful. At around 490 pounds, it keeps a steady feel on highways while remaining easy enough to steer through city lanes. The engine is an 800cc parallel twin, tuned for calm, steady delivery. It moves from low RPM with smooth pull, settles into mid-range with a confident tone, and stays composed at higher speeds. The revised mapping for 2026 makes throttle input steadier, especially in stop-and-go traffic. This is an engine that doesn't demand perfection from the rider. It smooths out your mistakes. Extra changes show up in the suspension and control hardware. The fork uses new internals that reduce front-end dive during quick braking, and the rear shock offers firmer support when leaning through long bends. Braking response feels more direct due to a refined master cylinder. The expected price should fall around $9,000 to $10,000, putting it in a strong spot for riders who want a mid-size retro machine with present-day updates and capable performance. Number 2. Royal Enfield Classic 650. The Royal Enfield Classic 650 moves into 2026 with an exterior that leans even deeper into old-world styling while smoothing out the edges for a cleaner look. This is Royal Enfield's answer to riders who want maximum vintage charm without sacrificing modern reliability and performance. The tank has a rounder curve, the metal side panels sit closer to the frame, and the chrome trims are finished with tighter polish. The headlight housing looks more compact, and the fenders have a smoother cut that gives the bike a neat, settled shape. Every element feels deliberately chosen to evoke motorcycles from the 1950s and 60s. The engine is a 650 cubic centimeter twin that carries updates in fueling and cooling to keep the ride calm and consistent. Low RPM response feels smoother. The mid-range has stronger pull, and the highway tone stays steady without strain. Vibration control is improved thanks to revised mounts, making long-distance cruising easier on the hands. This twin-cylinder layout transforms the Classic from a simple commuter into a genuine touring-capable machine. Extra work for 2026 shows up in the ride feel. The fork carries improved internals that cut down on front-end chatter, and the rear shocks hold the bike steady during quick weight shifts. Braking has a firmer lever feel due to upgraded hardware. The expected price sits around $7,000 to $8,000, placing it well below many retro machines while still offering a twin engine and polished exterior. The Classic 650 stands strong with smoother motor and steady ride updates. Number 1. Kawasaki Z650RS. The Kawasaki Z650RS rolls into 2026 with an exterior that sharpens its retro lines while keeping the familiar silhouette. This bike sits in that perfect middle ground, accessible enough for newer riders, but satisfying enough for experienced enthusiasts. It's proof that you don't need a liter-class engine to have genuine fun. The tank is shaped with a smoother arc, the side panels tuck in closer, and the round headlight sits in a cleaner housing that brightens the front. The tail section is trimmed tighter for a neater finish, and the color schemes feel more refined this year. Everything about the design feels intentional and cohesive. The engine is a 649 cubic centimeter parallel twin that gets mild tuning updates for steadier pull. Low RPM response is smoother, mid-range delivery has a more confident tone, and the motor holds speed better on open highways. This isn't a powerhouse engine, but it's perfectly matched to what this bike is trying to be, an engaging, manageable retro machine. The front fork uses revised internals that settle the front wheel over rough pavement. The rear shock offers firmer support when leaning into bends. The braking system feels more direct with improved lever feedback. The expected price sits around $9,000 to $10,000, landing it in a sweet spot for riders who want retro styling with modern reliability and a light, easy feel. The Z650 RS continues to grow with smoother response, cleaner styling, and upgrades that make it feel more settled on any ride. And with this, we've reached the end of our countdown. These 12 motorcycles represent the best of what 2026 has to offer for riders who want classic style with modern capability. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more upcoming content.